Let's start GD910 disassembly. First, remove the watch chain and the buckle. Put up the stretcher of the buckle perpendicularly and pull out the watch chain. Use the hook part of the tool for watch chain disassembly assembly. Find the groove in the gap between the body and the watch chain. Hook the tip of the tool in the groove. Pull the tool inward and push it upward. Repeat the same process with the other watch chain. Now, separate the buckle from the watch chain. Open the buckle. Disjoint it as you do with the body and the watch chain. Then, place the tip of the tool in the narrow crevice between the watch chain and the buckle. Now, use the cap SIM tool to separate the cap assay from the body. Check out the open mark on the cap assay and go on to detach it. Remove the bracket assay. Then, get a special triangular screwdriver to unscrew the 4 triangular screws on the body. Done with the screws? Okay, now release the rear cover assay by lifting it in a perpendicular direction. Remember the perpendicular lift to prevent the gasket waterproof from moving off its position. Once the rear cover assay is released, lay it down with the microphone on the back facing up. Remember, the microphone should face up to protect the spring in the microphone area. Now, it's time to disjoint the microphone. Get a pincet and poke the rubber part to pry it upward. Once the microphone is released, never reuse it. Otherwise, problems will arise with waterproof quality. Then, detach the LCD connector, and then try the touch connector. Next, hold the SIM socket with a pincet. Lift it upward and release the PCB frame. Now, detach the camera connector. Then try the power connector out. This time, undo the 4 Phillips screws on the PCB. Now you see the PCB fixed in the groove on the frame. Remember, as the side key FPCB part is attached to the frame, flip it to the attached side. Next, release the side key FPCB part off the frame. Hold the battery wire while detaching. And hold the neck part of the motor and remove it. Remove the rubber of the motor at the same time. Then remove the holder to replace the VGA camera module. Lift up the two fixed parts of the frame. Caution! To protect the spring, turn the frame over and remove the holder. Now, hold the tip of the VGA camera module and detach it by pulling it upward. Turn the frame key over to disjoint the VGA camera. And remove the side key cap. Then, fold the gold part at the upper tip of the LCD module inward on the front cover. Hold and remove the FPCB part of the LCD module. Move on to remove the speaker module. When removing the speaker module, the gasket waterproof is damaged. So, ensure that the speaker module and the gasket waterproof are replaced altogether. Remove the Deco SA. Now, see the gold part on the upper right end. Take it off the cover front. Pull the gold part out, and the main antenna and the module are off. Next, remove the BT antenna and the module. Go on to detach the shield can from the PCB. Finally, we are done with GD910 disassembly. Let's start the GD910 assembly. Take note of the guide grooves on the cover front and the stick-out parts of the BT antenna and the module to joint them. Attach them together by pushing the BT antenna and the module. Tuck the touch connector part in the groove on the lower end of the cover front. Remember, pull the touch connector part and tuck it in the groove. If the circuit part of the touch connector is pressed, problems will arise while inserting. Now, tuck the LCD module with the upper end first. Take note of the two RIBs on the cover front and the grooves of the antenna and the module and joint them. Stick the gold tape connected with the antenna and the module to the cover front part. Connect the end of the gold tape to the LCD module. Now, attach the deco assay to the cover front. Make sure that the blocked part of the deco assay corresponds to the gold tape part. Then, attach the gasket waterproof filter speaker to the deco assay. Next, leave the spring part of the speaker module toward the gold tape and attach it to the gasket waterproof. After the attachment, push the speaker module in the direction toward the antenna and the module. You need a little of force. Joint the side key cap. Make sure the rubber connection part of the side key cap is in the two RIBs on the front cover. Then, keep the groove part of the frame and the battery wire in a same direction, and then place the battery in its place. Tuck the battery wire in the groove on the frame. Now, hold the neck part of the motor and insert it in the lower end of the frame. Go on to joint the PCB with the shield can. Also, make sure the triangular mark on the shield can should be on the side where the side key FPCB is placed. Match and joint the PCB and the groove on the frame. Well done. Now, put the Phillips screws in the 4 spots on the PCB. You should see the guide RIB shape on the side of the frame in the groove of the side key FPCB. Now, put the gold-colored part of the power connector to face upward and then try assembling. Match the spring part of the VGA camera module and the holder groove. Okay, joint them first. Check out the positions of the guide pins on the frame and the holes of the VGA camera module. You should feel they are jointed firmly, or check out the state of insertion in the guide pin. Joint the connector part of the VGA camera module with the PCB. Turn the frame and attach the VGA camera lens. You should pay extra caution not to have the side keycap fall loose while seating the PCB-SA. Keep the VGA camera part of the PCB-SA facing the floor. Tuck in the speaker part of the cover front SA first. Take apart the two connectors at the lower end of the cover front SA. Now, check out whether the side keycap is off while you joint the PCB-SA by pressing the side keys. Well, now, put the LCD connector in its place. Get the touch connector to settle down in its place. Insert the microphone module in the groove on the inner side of the rear cover. Make sure that the rubber part of the microphone module does not come out. At this point, you should not touch the spring part while doing the microphone module assembly. Seat the rear cover on the front cover assay in a perpendicular direction. Put triangular screws in the 4 spots on the rear cover. Use a special triangular screwdriver to fasten the screws. Put the bracket in its place. And place the gasket waterproof of the cap in the correct place into the groove. Next, turn the LG logo on the cap by 20 degrees so that you can see it on the rear cover. Check out the marked close direction on the cap and joint it with a bar, sim tool. Now, hook one side of the bar of the watch chain in the inner groove of the buckle. Lay the other end of the bar into the hook part of the tool for watch chain assembly disassembly and tuck it in. Joint the watch chain with the buckle on it in the charge port area. Use the same process to assemble it. Then, attach the long watch chain on the other side with the same method. Connect the watch chain with the buckle. Now, turn the power on. That's all for GD910 assembly.